Before we get into this episode of Patch Notes, you may be wondering why it's being uploaded at a different time. Well, there was so much news this week, so much important, heavy news, that we kind of had to split the show up. And in this episode, we're going to be covering some more serious topics. And in the other episode this week, it's more lighthearted and more fun. And we have a guest, Chris Rumblepack, on that episode. So please go check that out. The link to the other episode is in the description. Hello and welcome to Patch Notes, your weekly show for the video game news you need to know about. My name is Cesar Torres, and let's jump into your weekly Patch Notes. Just so you know, this story covers topics including sexual harassment and misconduct. According to a report from the Wall Street Journal, CEO of Activision Blizzard, Robert Kotick, knew for years about sexual misconduct and mistreatment. The report details incidents of sexual harassment that Kotick knew about. For example, there was one instance where Kotick was informed directly of allegations made by an employee that a supervisor raped her in 2016 and 2017 after she was pressured to drinking too much alcohol. Her lawyers threatened legal actions, and Activision settled outside of the courts within a few months. And Kotick never informed the board of directors about either the allegations or the settlement. When directors questioned Kotick about what he knew and why they weren't informed about any allegations, Kotick insisted the issues were happening at Blizzard and were resolved years earlier. Everything kind of went down. 1,300 Activision Blizzard employees have called for Kotick's resignation, saying, "We, the undersigned, no longer have confidence in the leadership of Bobby Kotick as the CEO of Activision Blizzard." And the board of directors says they stand by Kotick and they remain confident that Kotick addressed the allegation issues in the workplace appropriately. Later, Kotick sent a video to employees saying the report from the Wall Street Journal paints an inaccurate and misleading view of Activision Blizzard and of Kotick. Meanwhile, PlayStation and Xbox seem to be rather upset with the whole situation. PlayStation boss Jim Ryan said Activision has not done enough to address a deep-seated culture of discrimination and harassment. And over at Xbox, Phil Spencer said he was disturbed and deeply troubled by the horrific events and actions that took place at Activision Blizzard, and said that this type of behavior has no place in our industry. Spencer also said that he was evaluating all aspects of our relationship with Activision Blizzard and making ongoing proactive adjustments. Yeah, this is always a hard story to cover, but this is the news. And, we here at Patch Notes obviously stand with the employees of Activision Blizzard, not with the higher-ups, especially not Robert Kotick. We wish nothing but the best for the employees over at Activision Blizzard. And hopefully they get to work in the studio they deserve to work in, and not one run by executives that don't seem to care about them. On November 16th, Streamlabs announced a partnership with Twitch, launching a browser-based streaming software called Streamlabs Studio that would let users stream from their PlayStation or Xbox and stream as if they were streaming off of their PC, with alerts and widgets for enhanced engagement. And this would be great news if it wasn't for the fact that Streamlabs is actually a plagiarizer. Later that day, Lightstream shared an image of their page next to Streamlabs Studios' page, claiming that Streamlabs copied Lightstream. And they were identical. Everything was stolen, even the reviews. And this was confirmed by I Am Brandon, who worked for Lightstream and gathered reviews for Lightstream. And then OBS, the open broadcasting system, came out and shared how before Streamlabs launched Streamlabs OBS, they asked OBS if it was okay to use the OBS name. And even though OBS denied it, Streamlabs still used the name anyways and filed a trademark under Streamlabs OBS. Elgato also came out memeing about how Streamlabs stole the Stream Deck app from Elgato. And several streamers also got upset and said if Streamlabs didn't change things immediately, they would stop using the platform. And so Streamlabs did, kind of. And they apologized to Lightstream, saying, "We made a mistake. Text on the landing page was a placeholder text that went into production by error. This is our fault. We removed the text as soon as we found out. Our intended version is now live." If you go to the website, it still kind of looks the same. They just changed a few keywords, basically. If you want my take on this, as a streamer myself who streams very rarely, twitch.tv/CaesarTowers, I would say don't bother with Streamlabs. I'm saying this if you are going to be a new streamer or you're still currently a streamer yourself. I would say don't bother with Streamlabs anymore. Just go over to OBS. Go to vanilla OBS, Open Broadcasting System. Download the software. It's, in my opinion, easier to use than Streamlabs OBS, and it's free. Streamlabs OBS, or I guess Streamlabs Desktop now, has a lot of paywalled features behind a premium page that you can find a widget for in OBS, because everything on OBS is free. You don't pay for anything. Everything is based on donations, and everybody that works on OBS is basically a volunteer. And so I would highly suggest you just use vanilla OBS, and for your alerts, there's other systems such as, Stream Elements. A lot of people use that. There's also a different alert system that I love called Pixel Chat. This is an alert system that you add onto your OBS, and it's free for the most part. There are some features that are behind a paywall, but it's being developed by one guy, and he's doing some really cool stuff over there, so I'd highly suggest checking out pixelchat.tv if you can, instead of using Streamlabs. What I'm saying is there are other options, and you don't have to resort to just the one Streamlabs. Thank you for checking out this week's episode of Patch Notes. Be sure to follow us on social medias. Follow the show at Patch Notes Vids on Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/PatchNotesTV. Be sure to go follow us on podcast services, especially like Spotify and Anchor. Leave us a thumbs up, give us a follow, give us a like, leave a review. Thank you for checking out this week's show, and be sure to check in next time when we give you your weekly Patch Notes.